So when someone has a sexual attraction to dead bodies, now we see that as being like really, really bad. And I'm not saying that, hey, pro necrophilia over here. All I'm saying is that when it comes to paraphilias, that is one that harms the fewest people. Like it really doesn't harm anyone. If you have a dead body where someone has said, when I die, you can have sex with my body if you want. The only reason that we see it as like really, really bad is because of, potential health implications of having sex with dead bodies. And also,
I don't know that's the only reason why.
No, and it's also it's pretty bloody disgusting, and more often than not, it's done non-consensually, which
right.
There are all of those aspects of it. And I'm not saying that necrophilia are good. I'm just saying like it's more or less kind of neutral if you remove those sort of arbitrary value, the arbitrary value that we place upon dead bodies.
It is practicable in a non-harmful way.
Absolutely, yeah.
Technically, yes.
Yeah. I mean, like.
Yeah. You're right. It is practicable in a non-harmful way. Just the majority of people are like, we don't want that.
Yeah.
And so, no.
Like we think it's weird and disgusting, but like, are you harming anyone?
And it is a really interesting. I found there's an episode of the IT Crowd about a cannibal who wants to eat a person, and I think the person's consented to them being eaten. And it is I like that episode. Really, it's a silly comedy show, but it did get me thinking. Like, well, I don't know what it's like to have an urge to want to eat people. Like, that is a really. I can't imagine being born into this world and having an overwhelming want to eat people.
Do you think you're born with it though?
Well, I don't know, but you could. I don't know. Regardless of whether you're born into the world or if you, through some set of circumstances, you are present day, you have this want to eat people. Yeah. What do you do about that? Like, what do you do about that?
This is the thing. I think
that just sounds like a horrible situation to be in. It just sounds dreadful.
You've really hit on it here. You've really hit on it here because I feel with a lot of these paraphilias, we view people incredibly so for necrophilia, we view people like incredibly negatively because they're doing something that we find disgusting and abhorrent and all of that things, in sort of normal society. But when you actually look at the human element, why are you judging them for doing this disgusting thing? Because like they really want to do it and they can't control what they want. The solution isn't to like say you're disgusting and horrific and it's like, hey, can we let's help you so that you don't have this and you don't have to deal with this issue that you've got, right? You know what I mean? Especially for necrophilia, where it's just like, who are you gonna harm if like, you know what I mean? Like it's a dead body.
It kind of comes back to a discussion we have a lot of the time about I promise this is relevant, about prison and about people who haven't committed a crime, liking to pat themselves on the back as being a great guy because I haven't committed a crime, and then somebody who's been convicted of a crime, even if it's something like possession of marijuana, or even, as we spoke in a different episode about, they have an impulse control problem, and they've committed a crime. And we like to pat ourselves on the back as not having done that and go, aren't we great guys? Yeah. Top-notch guys. And it's the same thing, but equally, there are certain things like having impulse control issues that make you more likely to do something like that. That's not you and your free choices. And it's the same thing as like, we like to pat ourselves on the back and go, aren't I a great guy relative to this person who wants to eat people?
Yeah.
Look at how great I am. And in order to do that, we have to massively condemn that other person in order to feel relatively good about ourselves. Yeah. Even though we didn't choose not to
That's the point.
To eat bodies.
This is where I want to be very, very, very clear on this, because this is a topic where you can be very easily misconstrued and people will take you out of context and all of that nonsense. I'm going to be so clear. Now, having that urge to, say, eat a person or to have sex with a dead body, you cannot control your urges, right? I don't think we should be judging people for that.
Well, you can control your urges. No. You can't choose your urges.
What I'm saying is you can't control. You can control whether you act on an urge.
Yes, yeah.
But you can't control that. You can't control feeling that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
In the same sense that you can't control a lot of the things that you want. If I want, say, a cookie, I can't control whether I want it or not. I already want it. I can just control whether I'm going to get it or not. And so,
do you?
Not really. No.
You can't even control your urge for cookies. Who are you to judge?
No, but my point being here that we what we tend to do is see someone that has an urge that we find disgusting.
Yeah.
And then we basically demonize them for having that thing that they can't control, rather than demonizing the acting
Whether they
upon
act
it.
upon it.
Yeah. I think it's the acting upon it which is the bad thing, like the really bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's just like, we should be helping you, because having these very like sort of non-societally sort of acceptable urges, and I don't say non-societally acceptable, to sort of I guess diminish the severity of it. I mean, like, it isn't acceptable in normal society, and it is harmful to people. If you've got those urges, we should be trying to help you so that you don't have them, because you didn't choose to do that.
Yeah,
it's not your fault.
Yeah, and in order to do that, those people need to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
And they probably cannot.
No.
Because you'll probably get locked up.
No, exactly. Yeah, no, it's tough, because as soon as you start showing sympathy for people like this, you're then labeled as someone that like is pro the whole thing, which it's just not the case. It's just a case of like, maybe the best way to sort of deal with problems in society isn't to demonize people for things that they can't control, but instead to vilify bad actions and try to help people avoid acting badly.
Yeah, but I don't know what I'd do if I was like in charge of the world. I don't know what I'd do in terms of like if someone wants to consensually leave their dead body to some cannibal.
You can do
Let 'em do it.
anything.
You what?
It's their dying wish.
No,
them
of
do
course,
it.
but you have to. The reality is, you have to create legal frameworks for that kind of thing to happen.
Oh, you
And,
do
like,
set up like consent forms.
Well,
and,
but you
like-
have to. If you're going to condone it, you have to create structures for your society to operate.
Yeah.
For people, for people to be able to confirm that there was consent and all that kind of stuff. I don't know what I would do, because you definitely wouldn't get that past a government. Like, you wouldn't win a vote in Parliament about
Oh no,
that.
sure, no. I mean, we're thinking of this ideal world where you manage to get it through, but I would just do a tiered system based on organ donation. So if you're an organ donor, you can opt into being an organ donor for a cannibal, and if
Oh my God, what? So you hang on.
no.
This is like
So if you've
Canada's
got-
maple
if
syrup
you've got
thing.
if you're basically not okay, think about it like wonky veg, right?
Oh my god.
Right. Do you know how in shops they started selling wonky veg?
If this kidney isn't quite good enough for a transplant, we'll give it to a cannibal.
But no, seriously though, if you've got organs and whatnot that are too messed up or mangled or whatever to go into a person, or parts of your body that aren't going to be used for organ donation or for science or whatever, why not just chop them up and chuck them to some cannibals?
Why not, Noah? Why not?
I mean, I'm not saying that we should encourage cannibalism. All I'm saying is that, like,
Right.
there's okay. You can make the argument that would encourage cannibalism and that would be a bad thing. Sure, fine, understandable. I'm just saying that, like, in and of itself, a person eating another person consensually, there are bigger fish to fry, right? Like, it's not the biggest problem in the world.
It's not fish they want, though, is it?
It's organs.
Human is the biggest fish to
Fish
fry.
have organs.
No, I think a shark's bigger.
Fish can't play organs. No, they don't have
Is
fingers.
a shark a fish?
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, it got gills, didn't it?
Yeah.
It's dolphins.
So there are bigger fish to fry.
Yeah. Very true.
Anyway.
Shall we get back to paraphilias?